column about the activities of the Boy Scouts. Right.
Well, that's all right. That's a good way to start out. And then your next job?
Then I worked for a radio station in Cleveland.
And doing what?
Also writing commercials and producing programs.
Yeah,
right.
that was fun.
It was indeed. I enjoyed it.
Was this right out of high school? Or?
Well, actually, while I was going to high school.
While you were going to high school?
Right, I'd go to school in the morning and then take the bus downtown to the radio station.
Well, I think that's terrific. It was an early start. And then what did you do after that next job?
Well, we started a little newsreel about sports. This is when television itself was beginning in 1950.
That's right.
And we sold that to television stations around the country. But we didn't do it too well, I guess, because we ran out of money. But then I was offered employment by one of the companies with which we were competing, and that was Telenews here in New York.
For heaven's sakes.
So then, by that time, I was married, and so my wife Helen and I moved to New York.
And to work for Telenews.
To work for Telenews.
And what did you do for them?
We produced another sports newsreel, and I would write the scripts for it and put the sports reel together. And that sort of introduced me to the whole area of film syndication, and then we left Telenews and started our own company.
You and your wife?
Well, just me, but Helen always helped.
Good for you, Helen. Now, you see, Telenews knew that you were going to be terrible competition for them, and that's why they grabbed you up, so you wouldn't be competition.
Well, you're nice to say that. I was very happy to be grabbed up.
At that point, because of the finances. Right. Now, then tell us more about this new enterprise.
The Cablevision, or the one we were starting.
Oh, after remember you were with the Telenews and you left.
Right. Then we started distributing films for other people, distributing them to television stations, and we began to put together a library of films which the early television stations were very anxious to have because there wasn't much material then.
No, they didn't. Some of them didn't even have networks.
But we became then very fascinated with the idea of television itself, and then we were beginning to hear that you could not only broadcast television, but you could put it through a wire. So we became interested in connecting all of the hotels in New York together with a piece of wire and sending television programming to the hotels. So in 1960 we started a service in New York which told people in their hotel rooms what was happening in New York.
Really?
And that was a service called Teleguide. And it was actually a directory for visitors to New York, an introduction to New York. And we did that for a number of years up until the World's Fair. And then we thought, well, we could do more with that wire than just service the hotels. And that caused us to consider cable television, and we applied for a franchise, and we began what is today Manhattan Cable Television.
You did?
Right.
First of all, just a second, Charles, the name of that company that when you had the wires going to all the hotels, what was the name of that company?
Teleguide.
Oh, that was called Teleguide.
Right. Teleguide on Channel 6.
On Channel 6, and
right.
People could go into there? That must have been a great experience for them.
Well, it was. Again, it wasn't as economic as we would have liked it to have been, but what it did teach us was how to serve the buildings of New York with cable television.
With cable TV.
Right. It gave us a great deal of early experience, and that made it possible for us to organize Manhattan Cable Television.
That was its value, as you say.
Right.
And so then you started this cable company, got the franchise, and this was the beginning of Manhattan Cable TV.
That's correct.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was a great experience, a lot of work, a lot of anguish, but we loved it.
And then what was next?
Well, we then started putting programs on Manhattan Cable. We made arrangements to put the Nixon Rangers on, and then we started motion pictures, and then we organized a network to provide these same programs to other cable systems. And that was the beginning of home box office.
It was?
Right.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
That started in 1972.
1972?
Right.
And what a job to try to wire Manhattan.
Yes, it was.
For cable.
Right. And it was very difficult then because we didn't then have the the excellent equipment that cable television has today. So it was much more difficult to build the system than it is today to build a cable system in an urban area.
This is also interesting. So what came after that?
Well, we finally sold Manhattan Cable and Home Box Office to Time Incorporated, and then we went out to the suburbs of New York and began another cable service called Cablevision.
That's your Cablevision,
and we're still doing that.
Now, what locale was that?
Well, Long Island, and then we expanded it to Connecticut, to parts of Westchester, New Jersey. We're now in Boston, Cleveland, Toledo, Kalamazoo, Chicago.
Haven't you done well? You have a huge number of subscribers. What is it?
Well, we by the end of the year, with all of the new arrangements completed, we'll have 1 million subscribers.
Wow. Now, these towns in Long Island, Mr. Dolan, the names of the towns?
Well, we serve all of Nassau County.
Oh, the whole county?
Right.
Ooh.
And the westernmost part of Suffolk County and East Hampton and Montauk.
Wow. And then the ones in Connecticut, I think I remember some of those, Westport.
Well, we service the area, all of Fairfield County, the area from the New York State border out past Bridgeport, from Greenwich out through Bridgeport.
From Greenwich all the way out to Bridgeport,
right.
And how far north? Well, of course, Fairfield County goes way up. It goes up to New Milford and all those places.
Right. There are many other cable companies, of course, serving Connecticut, and we join them.
You know, Mr. Dolan is a friend of Mr. Bresnan. You remember when Mr. Bresnan came to see you, and Mr. Bresnan started out early in cable.
Oh, Bill Bresnan is a pioneer in cable television. He was associated with the early teleprompter company. Teleprompter built the other part of Manhattan, and it was one of the early, very large, very important companies in cable.
My goodness, you've known each other a long time.
We have.
I think that year you mentioned was 1960? When you started around building up the Manhattan cable TV system?
That was, that started in 1961.
61,
right.
Yes, right. And now Mr. Dolan's company, Cablevision, has just bought the cable system in, name me those towns in Westchester, because the boys and girls live there.
Dutchess County, Portchester.
Harrison.
Harrison, I believe, yes.
Yep.
We are now, we operate a system in the city of Yonkers in Westchester.
Oh, you do?
Right.
Oh, that's right. You have Cablevision of Yonkers.
Right.
Yes, you do. And what else in Westchester? Anything else?
No, that's it.
That's it. Yeah, well, that's a plenty. Now, this is Mr. Charles Dolan, and he's the founder of Cablevision, along with a whole lot of other things. And when he comes back, boys and girls, he's going to tell you what his work consists like, to see if you'd like a cable career, and then he's going to give you some advice on how to get started in cable television. And this is a chat with Glendora. Mr. Dolan, could you give us an idea of the flavor and excitement of your work?
Well, there's a lot of excitement. There's so much involved in cable television. One, you are putting together programs that you believe that people who are your subscribers will want to see. So we have organized sports programming. We telecast all of the games of the Islanders, and we do the Yankees and the Mets and the Devils and the Nets and so forth. And we enjoy putting those programs together, doing those telecasts. And we have another service called Bravo, which is the performing arts and international film, and still another American movie classics, which are the great films of all time. So we have that programming aspect. We produce our own news programs. We do programs that tell people about all of the channels that we have, etc. So there is the idea of programming, which is a very important part of cable television, and then there is the marketing side of it, which is presenting all of that to potential subscribers and persuading them to become subscribers. And that involves direct sales, direct mail marketing, telephoning, etc. It is a different kind of marketing experience, and many of the people who are with us really enjoy that more than anything else and spend their careers doing that.
Do they? Mm-hmm.
And then the financial side, cable television involves the expenditure of large sums of money. So that we need people who can relate to banks and investors, and understanding the economics of cable television is by itself a specialty, and communicating that understanding to others. And then we have the technical side of cable, how to build a cable system, to maintain it, to operate it, how to improve it, providing greater channel capacity, putting facilities into the subscriber's home that enable them to respond to us and to order films on a pay-per-view basis. And the other important improvements that we're anticipating in cable, it is a great experience for people who are technically oriented and who like communications. So cable is one industry, but it is multifaceted,
yes.
And there are all kinds of very different career opportunities under the umbrella of cable.
Well, I think that's fascinating, and you love every minute of it, don't you?
I do. We find it very challenging sometimes, but
Yes.
I can't imagine a business or an activity I would rather be involved in.
Oh, that's good to hear. And I don't think that you and I made it clear. You own Sports Channel.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, Sports Channel, Bravo, and what was the third one?
Sports Channel, Bravo, American Movie Classics, News 12. These are all program services that are offered via cable.
Yes.
And we provide those to other cable systems, and our cable system carries programs that are created by
yes.
Other cable systems.
Well, Charles Dolan, that's a thrill to me to hear all that. Now, will you tell the boys and girls a good way to get started in cable TV as it is today?
Well, I think the best way to become involved in cable is to recognize what you're enthusiastic about, what skills you have, and to develop those, regardless of what they might be, and then to examine the cable industry and find out how you can relate to the cable industry through those particular skills, and then talk to people in cable about what you do and what you do well and what you want to do in the future. I think that is the most effective way to come to cable, because the industry now needs people with skills and ambition, and people who are genuinely interested in careers in cable and the future of our industry.
Oh, I think the people in cable TV would be pretty responsive to the youth, don't you?
Well, the industry is growing. We're employing more and more people. I think the future for cable is very bright, and again, anybody interested in cable should recognize the very strong divisions of interest within cable, and they should single one of those out and come to cable with the idea of being involved in a specific part of cable. That will make that person more interesting to their prospective employer in cable.
Is there anything else that you want to tell the youth, Mr. Dolan?
Just like to encourage everybody, absolutely continue with your studies, develop your own potential, whether it's cable or something else. It's you that is finally the most important aspect of it.
Oh, we thank you so much for taking time. You're a busy, busy man, but to hear it from you is a great honor. We appreciate it, Mr. Dolan.
Thank you for having me, Glendora.
You bet. Bye now.
Bye. I want you to go.
Boy, this is a great show. We have, here's a woman who was supposed to be with us last night, and the show was so much fun and just so good. It was white hot, and as a result, we didn't really have enough time, the fair amount of time to devote to this woman, so she consented to be over on the show tonight, stayed over. Her name is Glendora, and she is here tonight. You know, as I'm explaining that, I can hear a voice in my head saying, "Dave, you're just full of hot gas." And now, what was that? Speaking of hot gas, well, Also, a terribly talented filmmaker, Rob Reiner, is here tonight. And Scheidner. Tomorrow on the program, tomorrow is another great show. I don't know who's putting the show together, but this one is another solid gold program. Paul, you don't have any Rolaids, do you?
I can send out for some.
Yeah, do you mind?
Yeah, I'll send out.
I feel like I'm having a little trouble here tonight.
What could cause a thing like that?
I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, on the program tomorrow, Sugar Ray Leonard will be here. And also from the Grateful Dead, Jerry Garcia and Bob Weir. That'll be tomorrow night. Now, let's just bring out Glendora, shall we? Okay. My next guest believes in using television to spread her own special brand of happiness. She has made over 100 commercials. We have an example of one right here.
Hey, folks. How are you today? Just miserable, right? This is Glendora for delicious Worthington Veggie-Links. Veggie-Links by Worthington, folks, have no cholesterol. Delicious Veggie-Links have fewer calories than regular hot dogs, and Veggie-Links have no preservatives. I have no preservatives either. You see the wrinkles? Get your delicious Veggie-Links at the Glendora Health Nook at...
No need to shop everywhere. Go straight to Twin Fair.
And her show, A Chat with Glendora, has featured guests like Robert C. Wright, the president of NBC. Folks, please welcome the happiness lady, Glendora. Hi, Glendora. How are you? Pleasure to see you. Please have a seat. Where are you from, Glendora? Where does this show take place? Where can people see this?
Oh, the Chat with Glendora?
Yeah.
You can see this on Manhattan Cable TV and Paragon Cable TV, and you can also see it in Westchester, where all the rich people live, United Artists Cable.
And from where does it originate?
Well, of course, we originated at Mr. Wright's office and at Madeline Smithberg's dressing room and at Mr. and the chairman of General Foods and the chairman of Nestle's. We originated in people's offices. Some people come to our home, David.
I see.
The chairman of Colgate Palmolive Pete came to our home.
How do you get all of these people?
At 7 a.m.
Yeah. And I guess you were steamed, huh, that he was there so early?
Well, the thing that interested me about him, David, was that he did his own marketing research, and he went through all of our cupboards to see if we had any Colgate Palmolive products.
And what did the research turn up?
Zero.
Zero.
He didn't look under the sink cupboard where he would have found something. He didn't go into the bathroom cupboard. He really would have found something.
Now, tell me about the show. What is the format? When somebody tunes in, what do they see?
They see where were you born, where'd you go to school, what were your jobs, what is your present work like, and what advice would you give a youngster to get started on such a career today?
So it's an interview show primarily?
Yes, that's what we asked Mr. Wright.
Yeah, a half-hour show, is it?
Yes, isn't it amazing what the public will stand?
And is it on once a week?
Yeah, oh yes.
And how many years have you been on the air?
Well, I've been on television 35 years, but that show's been on the air a year and 3/4.
Are you hoping that this particular show will maybe grow, perhaps expand, maybe get to a network status or a local TV station or something?
Well, I sort of doubt that.
You don't think that'll happen?
No.
Well, you sure have the wardrobe for it, you know. Now let's take a look. Show me some of the footage. This is Robert Wright, the president now of NBC. You know, how did you get this guy to be on the show? Because we've asked him for years and years.
Have you?
Now. Oh yeah, and he won't come on the show. How did you get him?
It must be my good looks, huh?
Yeah.
Except I did talk to him over the phone, so that wouldn't have helped. No, I figure this way, David. He's a nice man, and he does want to help the youth. And that's what this is all about.
He wants to help the youth.
Yeah, that's what this problem...
Have we heard anything about that? He wants to help the youth? Paul, did you hear anything about Robert Wright wanting to help the youth of this country?
Robert C. Wright?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to help the youth.
I think he just... I think he's just looking to balloon the stock prices. I think that's about all we're into here.
No, he's a very nice man.
Very nice man. All right, now let's take a look at a couple of seconds from his interview on your show, okay? We have that here? Yeah. Robert C. Wright and Glendora, helping the youth. It is a chat with Glendora.
And then we got General Electric acquired RCA. And then I came over from General Electric to become the president of NBC, and that's how I got here.
Oh, it's such an interesting career. And that's how you ended up in Fairfield, because I think General Electric's table was centered in Fairfield, wasn't it?
Yes, I actually never worked in Fairfield.
Oh, you never did?
No, I've worked, most recently my office was in Stamford, Connecticut before I came here.
Oh.
Although I live in that area, but I didn't work there.
I see, yeah. This is Mr. Robert C. Wright, who is the President and Chief Executive Officer of NBC, and he'll be back in just a second and tell you what his work is like to see if you'd like to aim for that as a career, and then he'll also give you some ideas how to get started in broadcasting in today's world.
Yeah. It seems like you and he were dressed alike. Didn't he? You sort of have the same kind of look there. Now, I don't want to linger on this, but how did General Electric's acquisition of RCA, how did that ultimately help the youth of this country?
What helped the youth was Mr. Wright telling how he got started, because he was at the same point. Yeah, he was at the same point in his development as the youth who watch the program we hope are in theirs.
I see. Now tell me about your personal recipe for happiness. You're known as the happiness lady.
Well,
is that what they say?
No.
What do they call you?
Glendora.
Yeah.
And what did you say your name was?
I'm Dave. I'll be my last night.
You are a very good interviewer.
Well, thank you.
And I'm going to recommend you for a raise.
Thank you.
The recipe for happiness, David, is that there's one thing in this world that you can do better than anybody else. And if you will go by yourself, you will find out what that is. And you will do it, and you'll be happy. Now, if you don't do it, David, it's going to nag at you every second of your life.
So you find out what it is that you're good at.
No, the one thing that you can do better than anybody else.
The one thing you can do better than anyone else, and you just concentrate on that.
Yes, you do.
And then that'll make you happy.
Well, sure, because you'll get everything you want.
Yeah. And the Vegilinks, vegetable protein, no meat at all in here, right?
No meat.
Okay. All right. Well, geez, Glendora, good luck with the show.
Oh, thank you very much.
And I hope you can come back and see us again sometime.
Oh, we'd like to very much. Would that take 2 days or just one the next time?
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, that's right. You were supposed to be here last night. Okay. We have to go here now. We have other guests. But thank you very much. Nice to see you.
Threaten a judge. May be coming here.
Message 7102 p.m. Wednesday, April 30. Hi, Glendora. Message 81. Message 9312 p.m. Wednesday, April 30. Hi, Glendora. It's back. Are you there? Message 10:8:23 p.m. Joke 7 like my town. Message 13:9:19 p.m. Thursday, May 1. Got the call to see how your court date turned out and what happened and is there a new one? My number is 718-461-1209. It's Thursday. Bye.
To just...
It just came off with age. You put it in a couple of things. I'm Franklin Buell. I'm 78 years old. I make this recording to speak my belief and preference of not going to the hospital, and particularly at an advanced age. I don't approve of any artificial means of prolonging life, feeding, intravenous feeding, any type of thing that seeks to prolong life at best. I'm opposed to that, and I would not like to have that done to me if the time comes. Also, if I'm sick, at my age, I appreciate the things that medicine and hospitals have done, but I have a strong feeling about not going to the hospital and feeling that I would rather cope with things in familiar surroundings. Thank you. This is the 12th day of May, 1997.
You mean you'd rather stay home?
That's right. I'd rather stay home.
Hi, I'm Glendora, and I saw my friend Merrill Folsom suffer terribly in the hospital. I saw him with bruises on his arms, must have been 20 here, must have been 20 here, where he'd been punctured here, there, and everywhere, and tubes down his nose, and then he was lying in bed with his hands strapped down, and he'd asked for a drink of water, and they wouldn't give him water on the excuse that it would make him choke. And instead they took this powder and put it in the water, and it came out all gooey, and that didn't satisfy his thirst, and it must have tasted horrible. And his daughter wanted to give him a banana, and they said, oh no, he can't have a banana because of potassium. The next day he was dead. I believe that a person should stay home, as Franklin does, in familiar circumstances. And if I get sick, I don't want to go to a hospital. I want to stay home. We have written this on paper, but it was suggested that we videotape it too. And as I say, my name is Glendora, and there's Katie running around. We thank God for this beautiful, perfect day. It's a day in May, and it's May 12th, 1997, Monday, and I believe it's about 3:30 in the afternoon. I state my preference. No tubes in the nose, no intravenous feeding, no tubes in the stomach. I don't want that, and I don't want to be kept alive with any artificial means at all. The joke is that this is springtime, and the national economy wrestles with three major surpluses: corn, wheat, and Girl Scout cookies. Scout cookies. Now, folks, he says that he'd be a millionaire today. He could have invested in Federal Express 30 years ago, but he thought it was a fly-by-night company. And Don says, you'd be surprised. He's a stockbroker. He says, you'd be surprised how many people come to my office with a chauffeur in a Lincoln Continental to get advice from a guy who comes to work on the bus. And John says, I buy sweet chariot stocks. What do you mean by that? As soon as I buy them, they swing low.
03 a.m. Friday, May
Thanks, God love you too, Harvey. Carmine is another freedom fighter.
4 a.m. Friday, May 9.
Hi, Glendora. It's Judy. I'm calling on Friday at 9:45. I did receive tape number 2332. It will be on today. I also received your special and another tape 2333 for next week. Your special will be on the 19th at 4:30.
Thank you.
Any questions, you can call me back.
Thanks, Judy. Dell and Dick, Cablevision Hot Pot.
11:06 a.m. Sunday, May 11. Hey guys, this is 9X repairman. Worked on the line this morning. Should be okay now. Static is gone. Have a nice day.
Yes, it is good. Good man.
29 p.m. Monday, May 12.
Oh, darling, you all bathing beauties? I don't know. I never bathed one. But anyway, this is Gloria. I'll see you tomorrow by 10:30, darling. Have a wonderful day. God bless you.
God bless you, Gloria. Gloria Parker.
End of messages.
Now we'll get to Huntington calls.
And I know you used to have something called the Happy Book or Glendora's Happy Book. If you could send it to me, that would be great. I would like to see it. I think you're great. My name is Kayla Rudden, R-U-D-D-E-N, and my address is 538 Stuckatog, S-E-C-A-T-O-G-U-E Avenue in Farmingdale, 11735. And I think you're great. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.
This is the day after Mother's Day, 1997. This is May 12th. Monday.
Tuesday, May 13.
Glendora, hi, it's Elena. Wanted to speak with you. You know our numbers for 21-1200. And wanted to report on some development. Give us a call. Hope all is well. Bye-bye.
Message 2:12:59 p.m. Tuesday, May 13.
Good afternoon on Wednesday, May 14th at 9:15. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Message 3:19 p.m. Tuesday, May 13.
Hi, Glendora. This is Doris. I want to be sure that you received our letter, that you know about the hearing tomorrow at the City Bar Association. I did not see your name as on the list of speakers, and I was surprised, but I do hope you're coming, and I hope you can videotape it, because Elena and I will be testifying between 11:30 and 12:30, and we have about half a dozen or more.
Message 4:1:27 a.m. Thursday, May 15. Message 5:11:18 a.m. Friday, May 16.
Darling, I just got hung up twice by the chief judge's office. I'm just fuming, really fuming. There's no, how do you get a recourse on this thing? This is unbelievable. The judge has passed 39 business days before he's come down for the decision on the judge and on my complaint. And that phony square is really something else. Darling, take good care. I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.
That's Newman doing his usual bad job.
58 p.m. Monday, May 19.
I guess it was Becky. I just started a message. I was getting really bad. I hope I'm not calling too late. Let me get up early. I'm trying to call you tomorrow morning before you leave. That's fine. Sorry I didn't get a message before you went to bed. Anyways, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for giving me the name of it. Time. Bye-bye.
End of May 13.
Glendora, hi, it's Elena. Wanted to speak with you. You know our numbers for 21-1200. And wanted to report on some development. Give us a call. Hope all is well. Bye-bye.
May 18.
Hi, yeah, listen, my name is Joseph Barna. I'm at 979-9766. I was watching a poor woman on television who was hassled by authorities, apparently, to the point of maybe not quite as bad as I have been, but I'd like to speak with either her or her husband or someone who's familiar
hospital at Hauppauge, 4:30 p.m. Monday.
19. Yeah, listen, could you please contact me? I'm at 979-9766. Name is Joseph Pardo, regarding a television program I'm watching. I'm back to watching. Thank you.
I did contact him, folks, or contact him, that's a bad word. I did get in touch with him.
PM.
And,
Monday, May 19th. Message 5:20 p.m. Monday, May 19th. Enter 0 to confirm. Messages erased.
The 8-year-old said to her mother, "Is it true that we come from dust and return to dust?" And her mother says, "Yes." And the little girl says, "I look behind the sofa and somebody's either coming or going." I wanted to tell you that what was done to this man who called is terrible, with the police brutality and the police state. It's an awful, awful thing. And we have to rally against this, folks. This is not America. This is the zone, wide and tight. This is the button you push.
Right.
Yes, I am.
And you're going to stand up for rent control.
That's right, I am.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So what is the issue of this?
The issue is I don't want to pay more rent than I'm already paying. I feel I pay too much as it is.
Too much as it is.
That's right.
And you're going up and you're going to ask the state to do what?
To renew the bill.
And what's going to happen up there? Are you going to go to
The Capitol building. And
go
we're
to
going
the Capitol building
and we're going to pick it.
and pick it?
Yeah.
And you have signs?
I imagine they have signs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Have you gone before?
No, this is my first time.
Yeah. Well, listen, I admire you for standing up.
Thank you.
It's a good cause. We have nothing but greedy landlords.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah. Well, that's good. What's your name?
Mary Conway.
Oh, good for you for going, Mary. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Sorry.
The bus to go to all the way. And you're against rent control. Oh, yeah. Tell us about it. What's the issue? Subsidized housing. Yeah, I think that this so on it contributes some overall. And what is it that does it? Greedy landlords. Yeah. Greedy landlords. Greedy landlords. They get enriched and we get impoverished. That's right. What is your name?
My name is Gloria Holmes.
Nice to meet you, Gloria. And it's a considerable effort for you to come on a rainy day and go all the way to Albany. What are you going to do when you get up there?
I'm going to protest.
And what do they do? Where do they go? To the Capitol, and then you pick it back and forth. Yeah. And about how long will you pick it?
I guess until about 2 or 3.
2 or 3, and then you come back to a white plane. Yeah. Oh, good. Thank you, Gloria. You got up early to take the bus too. Yes, I did. Yeah. And what's the fight? What's it all about?
The tennis rights.
Tennis rights. Good for you. You think it's in danger?
I feel it is. I was a senior citizen. I didn't know.
Yeah, you sure. Good for you. How'd you hear about it?
Well, I went to the meeting and I read the paper every day. I went to the meeting at the library.
Oh, there was a meeting at the library. What organization was it?
Well, it was for the tennis coalition.
Of Westchester.
Westchester.
Yeah. There's quite a few of these around the state, right?
Yes.
Good. We thank you for doing it. What's your name?
Irene Garcia.
Irene Garcia. What's your name, sir?
Jose.
Jose, yes. Look at the camera if you would. Jose, tell the folks what the issue is.
Well, the issue is about the rent, they want to increase our rent, and we think we are paying fair enough, and I think we find this necessary. Otherwise, Madame is going to get way up.
Yeah. Okay. We've got to fight for our rights on rent control. Anything else, Jose?
Well, we came early. I came here at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And
it's a considerable sacrifice, Jose.
Well, I consider it a duty.
Are these all White Plains people?
Yes, they're all White Plains people. Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Jose.
I went to the also to the meeting at the library.
You did?
Really good.
Oh, good. Good.
My wife didn't make it today because she had to work.
She has to work? Yes, to pay the greedy landlord. Right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
And to do what?
To fight against the landlord.
The landlord. And you don't want your rent increased?
Oh, no.
No, right. Are the landlords right in doing this? The landlords are right? They're not right in doing this, are they? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Did you get up early to do this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Early morning.
How did you hear about it?
All over the place.
All over the place. Good for
Radio,
you.
TV, even paper.
Good going. What's your name?
Jose.
Nice to meet you, Jose.
Thank you. You too. Me too.
Take care.
The issue is to not raise the rent.
Not raise the rent.
Not raise the rent.
The rent's
We're paying enough rent already.
Yeah, we're paying enough rent already. Right. Who is behind all this?
Our landlord.
Our
Greedy landlord.
Okay, and did you know, Cheryl, that the landlords increased their contributions to the Republican Party to try to get this through?
Yes.
You know that the landlords are paying for this legislation to get it through?
Yes.
Right. Cheryl, what organization is sponsoring this?
The United Tenants Association.
Westchester?
Westchester United Tenants Association.
Cheryl, I want to thank you for going to Albany and protesting.
You're welcome.
Thank you. One. And here's another person who's exercising his free speech and addressing his government for grievance of wrong. What's your name?
Carmen.
Carmen. You're going to Albany?
Yes.
What do you think is wrong about the rent increase?
He has
a friend that she
Not right.
Not right.
Not right.
And you feel bad, strongly enough to protest it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What's going to happen up there, Carmen?
I don't know.
But you're going to rally, right?
Yes.
You're going to let the people know that it's wrong.
Yes.
Who's behind this, Carmen? Who's behind it? The greedy landlords? Yeah, okay.
It's against us.
Yes, right. Good for you, Carmen. Thank you. Standing up for their rights. Tell us the issue.
It's about the control and don't want to be homeless people. So that's why you're protesting.
You're out fighting for yourself.
Exactly. I'm sure. Fighting for my home.
You're fighting for your home. Food, clothing, and a home.
No, he's not in this world. I don't know where he's from, but he certainly has the wrong idea.
Good for you.
Absolutely. Where we've been living a whole lot of years. A lot of our neighbors, where are people supposed to go where they intended to go?
Good for you. You're certainly showing up in strong numbers. I think there's about 50 people here. Do you?
Yeah, and I hopefully there's a bit more coming because they said that it's probably going to be a little delayed going off, but hopefully in my heart I hope with God's will everyone's going to show up and really fight for what we
God bless you. What's your name?
My name is Bonnie Press.
Hi, Bonnie.
How are you?
You watch me on TV?
Yes, I do. It's a nice voice.
And you're
Francis Johnson.
Oh, good for you. We stand up for right, right?
Absolutely.
We fight for what is right. A lot of people, folks, have driven up in taxi cabs.
Absolutely.
And they're spending their money.
Absolutely. These people, you know, have to luxury car. I don't have a luxury car. Just when I say this is my neighbor, she brought me over here. I mean,
good for you.
What are we going to do?
Right. This is just a White Plains car.
Yes.
And there's people being picked up in Hartsdale,
Mount Vernon, Yonkers, all from
New Rochelle, right? Yeah.
Where's the ferry?
For those that are opposing this rent control will never have a vote against it.
You betcha.
Absolutely.
You betcha. You betcha. Wait, there's one thing went through my mind. Oh, this is going to be on Channel 14, 7 p.m. this coming Monday.
Okay.
Thanks for joining the fight.
The weather's with us.
What? Yes.
Yes.
Oh, the Lord is with us. What did they say?
Tenant power.
Tenant power.
And
I'm a tenant and I vote. I am a tenant and I vote. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I'll say you are. You get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get over here, and you give your all. I think that's terrific. Anything else you want to say? Down with the greedy landlords. Down with the greedy landlords. Thank you.
The landlords, they're getting too much money. According to Mark Green, the public advocate,
The apartment that cost $400 in 1975 should cost $972 this year. Instead, it's going for $1,240. Yeah, that's too much money. That's 3 times. 3 times is too much money. Good for you. That's a great statement. What's your name? Marilyn O'Lear. Good for you, Marilyn O'Lear. Thank you.
Another thing that the landlord should do, they should rent the apartments that's sitting vacant, and then they would have enough money.
That's it. That's it. Good for you. Thank you. Want what?
Governor, please don't raise my rent.
Good for you. Right, and you're going up there to tell them that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And what's your name?
Siobhan Muldoon.
Oh, nice to know you, Siobhan. And who's the lady that, what's your name?
This is
Isabel Foster. Isabel Foster. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Person who's going to expose this on TV. We are exposing on TV greedy landlords. Greedy landlords. Greedy landlords. There's quite a few people here, folks. This is the Westchester County Center. Westchester County Center. And today is May the 20th, 1997, Anno Domini.
And the next step, when I said I might as well get my exercise. When I saw the shut down the railroad, I said,
push it. You don't have to push anything.
Well, it's too close. I can't see the...
Got to give them a lot of credit for organizing this protest and for people standing up for their rights, says George Pataki. I hope it doesn't take the expiration of laws to force serious negotiations, but if it does, it does. And why, Mr. Pataki? So you can get landlord contributions to the Republican Party. May 1st, 1997, dear member and supporter, who represents the most rent-regulated tenants in all of New York State? Is it Senate Majority Leader Joe Bruno? No. It is Assembly Speaker Sheldon Silver. No. Is it Governor George Pataki? Yes, that's right. Down on Pataki. The government represents 2.7 million rent-regulated tenants in New York City and its surrounding suburbs. With that many potential votes, the governor is the strongest ally of rent-regulated tenants. Right? Wrong. The governor has stated that he is willing to let rent protection laws expire to strong-arm a deal on a new state budget. Plus, George Pataki was elected with millions of dollars in landlord contributions. Tenants must make it clear to the governor that he will pay a political price if he fails to renew the rent laws with no weakening amendments. Don't let him do it, folks. Make him renew the rent laws with no weakening amendments. 6 weeks left. That's it. That's all the time we have left. But there are still thousands of tenants in key Republican Senate districts that must be mobilized. I'm a tenant and I vote. Remember that. We know that you have been a strong supporter of Tenants and Neighbors campaign to save the rent laws. But mobilizing these tenants will take every resource we've got. We need you to renew your support right now for the final push towards June 15th. And folks, we gave, I think it was $4 we came up with. That was the best we could do. The landlords have more money, but even they admit that with 2.7 million tenants, we have the numbers. To win, we must mobilize these tenants. That's why you must act today. And here's the announcement bus trip to Albany, and that's today, on May the 20th, 1997, Tuesday. Now, you understand that that showing that you saw was just White Plains people, because there's a bus going to Hartsville, there's a bus coming from Yonkers, there's buses coming from cities all over the United States, and they're going to go up there and they're going to picket Pataki. I think it's great. I just love to see people exercise their free speech. The person to call in White Plains is Marge Pavlika. Hartsdale, White Plains, and North White Plains. And her number is 761-429-8255.
6041. We've given a couple of donations to them. Last chance, tenant lobby day, don't delay, act today. Here is, I'd like to have you join this organization, Tenants and Neighbors, to fight greedy landlords. And it says at round 2, the tenants fight back. Nassau campaign turns up the heat on Senate Republicans, by Joe Heafy. Just let me read you the first paragraph of that. This is for you Nassau folks. The statement characterizing tenant organizers was made by Senator Dean Scalos, and he says this small group of elitist ideologues use unsavory tactics to justify their own existence and panic people into believing they will be unceremoniously thrown out of their apartments. Well, they will, because of greedy landlords. In a letter to tenants in Rockville Center and Long Beach, Long Island, who have been working with the help of Tenants and Neighbors and the newly formed Nassau Tenants Coalition, hi Penny, to save the rent laws. Senator Scalos' choice of words shows that tenants have been quite successful in turning up the heat on Scalos and his fellow Republican senators from Nassau County. The campaign to organize tenants in Nassau is being coordinated by the Nassau Tenants Coalition, a group of tenant leaders from Glen Cove, Great Neck, Hempstead, Long Beach, and Rockville Center. The goal of the coalition is to mobilize tenants in communities throughout the county to put pressure on state senators Hannon, Levy, Marcelino, Scalos, and Tully to stand up to their leader in the Senate, Joe Bruto, and extend the rent laws with no weakening amendments. The date mobilization meetings have been taken place are in Glen Cove, Great Neck, Rockville Center, Long Beach, and Hempstead. Meetings are currently being planned for Freeport, Mineola, and Floral Park. Back in just a second. You know, one stockbroker, folks, told the truth. He says, you'd be surprised how many people come to my office with a chauffeur and a Lincoln Continental to get advice from a guy who comes to work on the bus. And here he says that his stockbroker gets sentimental at Christmas. He hangs mistletoe over the door so his clients can kiss their money goodbye. And a man who is a mogul on Wall Street was asked by his neighbor when he came home from work. When the man came home from work, he says, what's the latest dope on Wall Street? And the mogul said, my son Irving, he just started working for the company. And vacation time is when millions of Americans go beyond the Rubik's Cube and face the ultimate challenge, refolding a roadmap. And the little girl says, is it true, Mommy, what they teach us in Sunday school, that we come from dust and we return to dust? And Mommy said, certainly. And the little girl says, I just look behind the sofa and somebody's either coming or going. And Bill says it's getting harder and harder for me to support the government in the style to which it has become accustomed. Back in a minute. Folks, I went to the Texaco annual meeting, and there were 1,000 people there. It really boggles my mind, why do 1,000 people go to an annual meeting? Just to hear boring speeches and to hear the management brag about what they've done and rationalize for what they've done wrong and for a cup of coffee. That's it. No Danish, no donuts, just a cup of coffee. Well, I went, and it was on a week ago, today, May the 13th, and it was at the Rytown Hilton in Westchester, in Rybrook. And the security was horrendous. They had everything short of a metal detector. And as I approached the door going into the grand ballroom where the meeting is, a Texaco guy on security says, here comes Glendora, you can't miss her, she's got a red hat, a red vest, and red pants. Telling the people inside. I had my shareholder's ticket to get into the meeting. Their gift to us this year was a pen, a ballpoint pen. And you had to sign another ticket to get in. And I went in, and the first person I saw was Thomas Murphy, the former Chief Executive Officer of the American Broadcasting Company, ABC, Television Cap Cities. He's the one who got the money to buy well, he started Cap Cities when I was on TV in 1956 to 62 in Albany, Schenectady, and Troy for General Electric, WRGB. And he started up a competition in Albany, Channel 10. And it was a rinky-dink outfit. And he also bought a station in Providence, Rhode Island, and started Cap Cities. Okay, and then Cap Cities, of all things, ends up buying the ABC television network. And then Disney, of course, bought that. But the fact about Mr. Murphy is that Mr. Murphy owes Glendora, or let Michael Gelman owe Glendora something like $120 and $120 for 2 stolen VHS videotapes. And I told Mr. Murphy that. And what did Mr. Murphy say? I don't know anything about it. So when I got up to speak, I told the shareholders about it. And I also told the shareholders about Thomas Aquinas Vanderslice, who is also a director for Texaco, that Maycom ordered a videotape for $120 from Glendora. Glendora did the work and produced it, and Maycom never paid for it. Okay, so there's 2 bad directors on the board of directors of Texaco. And then I asked Texaco to sponsor Glendora Cheerful Look at Life, 30 Seconds of Jokes, brought to you by Texaco on the NBC television network every Monday night in prime time for $3 million. I've asked them that before when DeCrane was the CEO, and I asked if DeCrane was there, and there was no response. Jesse Jackson was there. A lot of people were there protesting Texaco, boycott Texaco because of what they do to the rainforest with the oil. They ruin the environment. Let me check the time. Well, for today, folks, keep your courage flaming. People are out there to steal what you have for their own selfish purposes. Don't you let them do it. Bye-bye. Just miserable, right? Welcome to Glendora Cheerful Look at Life. Harold said to Bob, I'm worried about my 4th daughter getting married. And Bob said, why? And Harold says, well, on account of my 1st daughter married a man from Singleton, New Hampshire, and they had 1 child. And my 2nd daughter married a man from Twin Oaks, New Hampshire, and they had 2 children. And my 3rd daughter married a man from 3 Rivers, Michigan, and they had 3 children. And Bob says, so why are you worried about your 4th daughter? And Harry says, she's going with a man from the Thousand Islands. The church had a Bible selling contest, and Edward sold more Bibles than anybody else. And Edward stuttered. So they wanted to know how he did it. And this is how he did it. He would say to a person, do you want to buy a Bible? Or do you want me to read it to you? taxi cab pulled up to the curb, and the woman got out, and she says to the cabbie, "How much do I owe you?" And the cabbie says, "Nothing, ma'am, you did all the driving." Somebody asked Charles, "Why do you keep playing your wedding videotape backwards?" And Charles says, "On account I like to see myself walk out of the church a free man." Now it was a foggy night, and John was out in his car, folks, and he was scared to death. He didn't know the road, and he was scared to death that he was going to go into the ditch. So a car up ahead pulled in, and Bob says, John said, "I'll follow that car." He says, "He probably knows the road, and he's got those bright red taillights." He says, "So I'll follow the car. He'll keep me on the road." And he followed him for a long time. This went on for a long time. And finally the car up front stopped, and John hit him. John got out, and he says, "What, you stopped so suddenly for? Couldn't you give me a signal?" And the fellow up front says, "What, in my own garage?" Well, Diane was stopped by the policeman, and the policeman's looking at her license. And the policeman says, "It says here that you should be wearing glasses." And Diane says, "But I have contacts." And the cop says, "I don't care who you know, you're going to get a ticket anyhow." Nathan, aren't you musicians going to last? Have you heard all this in vaudeville? Nathan was a Hollywood extra, folks, and he finally got a speaking part. And here's the scene. The detective says, "Did you see that woman drink that cup of coffee?" And Nathan was supposed to say, "I did." So he went home and he rehearsed all the different ways that he could say, "I did, I did, I did, I did." Came time to shoot the scene. The detective said, "Did you see that woman drink that cup of coffee?" And Nathan said, "Did I?" Well, Paul is coming out of the pet shop. He's got a very cute little Cocker Spaniel in his arms, and he meets his friend Pete. And he said, "Pete, what do you think of this Cocker Spaniel I got for my wife?" And Pete said, "That's not a bad trade." Robert said to the waitress, "What kind of ice cream do you have?" And the waitress says, "Vanilla chocolate and strawberry." And Robert says, "You sound kind of hoarse. Do you have laryngitis?" And the waitress says, "No, just vanilla chocolate and strawberry." Walter the warden said to Walter, "Walter, you must be awfully lonesome in here. I never see any relatives or friends come to visit you." And Walter says, "Oh, no, warden, they're all in here with me." Folks, why did the bunny rabbit ask to be changed into a goon within the next 24 hours? So he could be hare today and goon tomorrow. Michael placed a call, and when he finished, the operator says, "That will be $1.59. And Michael says, "But operator, I asked you to reverse the charges." And the operator says, "Okay, that's $9.51. This priest had been working very hard, folks, very, very hard. So he was told to take a couple of weeks off and go and rest. And so he went to Hawaii, and he got this loud, loud shirt and these loud, loud shorts. And he was lying out on the sand in the sun, and this beautiful girl in a bikini went by. And she said, "Hello, Father." And so the priest went back to the shop, and he says, "This shirt isn't loud enough, and these pants aren't loud enough, these shorts aren't loud enough. Give me something louder." So he went back on the beach, and he's lying in the sun. The same girl went by in a bikini, and she says, "Hello, Father." And the priest says, "Pardon me, ma'am, but would you please tell me how you knew I was a priest?" And the woman says, "Sure, I'm Sister Martha over at the parish." Billy said, "Grandma, I dropped my lunch bag on the driveway and Dad backed the car over it." And Grandma says, "That's wheels on meals." Anthony was riding along, and the policeman stopped him, and the policeman says, "Do you know how fast you were going?" And Anthony says, "No." He says, "I don't have a speedometer." The policeman says, "You don't have a speedometer? How do you know how fast you're going?" And Anthony says, "Well, at 35 miles an hour it rattles, at 45 miles an hour it shimmies, at 55 miles an hour it stops. Now folks, what do you call a miniature guppy? Give up? A microfiche. Sam, his girlfriend wanted a medallion, you know, the chain around the neck and then the metal here. And he didn't know what you call them. And he waited until the last minute. He rushed into the department store. And there, lo and behold, in the perfume counter, a girl was wearing one. So he rushed up to her and he says, he's at the last minute, and he says, "What do you call those and where do you get them?" And she turned all red and she said, "Falsy, second floor lingerie." So much better. And the hostess said, "I took down the ironing board." Okay, now here's your last joke, okay? Art was a great golfer, okay? He had a terrible day. So he threw his golf bag into the pond, and he threw his clubs into the pond. He threw all of his golf balls into the pond. He went up to the clubhouse. He slit his wrists. He's standing there bleeding to death. And Harry comes in and says, "Hi, Art. How about a game of golf tomorrow?" And Art says, "What time?"
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Glenn.
How's that? Upside down? From a famous president, Abraham Lincoln. Here we go. steady hand. Here we go. I think that's too easy. Suppose I turn the bottle upside down. More difficult? I think it would be, right? Very difficult. My two doggies out there, Spartan and Chip, do you think I can do it? I think they said yes. I think it goes in this way. It goes into this. That's why it's called a gazinta. It goes into this. There it is. Instrumental. Much coffee. There it's going. Ah! How's that? That was done carefully. Here we go. Let's see if it's a real balloon. Let's see where they are.
This is Sony videotape 22 being rewound by the AV3600. The AV3400 did a pretty good job playing that tape. This was a different kind of tape. It was 3M tape. I was very disappointed in the Sony tape because from 1974 to 1988 it just gave sitting around. It was stored very, very carefully, but something like the glue or whatever broke down on the backing, and it made all kinds of problems of stickiness and everything else. I really still don't know whether it's the tape or whether it's the machine. The machine got cleaned up and cleared up the tape track and everything, the tape path and everything. You got to the point where you could get some picture from it. But it really is a struggle. I guess back then they didn't know what it was. to have videotape. And here's a suggestion. If you do have videotape, don't let them sit on the shelf for a year, 2, 3, 4, like that. Get them out, play them, and exercise them, and make sure you know what's going on. We exercise these Sony videotapes every 6 months. We exercise them in May, and then we exercise them in January. Now we're going to move on to Sony videotape 23, we hope. The date is May the 10th, 1990, on Thursday, and the time is 11 a.m. Three, 2, 1. Folks, your first guest on the Chat with Glendora is Robin Leach, who is star and host of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. On account of, you must be tired of lifestyles of the dingy and obscure. What do you say we call up Robin Leach now and ask him to talk to us?
And they gave me the assignment of covering both crime and did it by satellite from Los Angeles every day.
I see. And when you were on Entertainment Tonight, were you in Los Angeles then?
No, I was based in New York, but like I do now, I traveled the world for that show.
Oh, I see.
And it really is 7 days a week of 20-hour days, sometimes 24-hour days.
Wow, Robin, don't you get tired?
Of course I do.
So how long have you been here in White Plains?
Well, we've been in White Plains since 1983.
What brought you here? You just like it here?
Yes. This is Larry Greco, who's a photographer for the Long Island Voice, and today is May the 29th, 1997, at 12:30 p. I got you, Larry.
You really take it?
Yeah, I did.
Thinking about New York City's finances?
Yes, I most certainly do. I think most people in New York that have any civic pride, I think they would be depressed over the situation because...
Hi!
Hello.
How are you today?
Very good.
Do you get depressed when you think of New York City's finances?
I get very depressed. I think that it's totally uncalled for. I think that the federal government should definitely give us some money, because New York City should not be allowed to go bankrupt the way it's going right now.
Yeah. Right. You live right in Manhattan, don't you?
I live right in this building right over here.
Yeah, that is in Manhattan, yeah. Well, how are you today? I'm very fine. How are you?
Oh, good, thank you. It's a beautiful day.
Yes, indeed. It's delightful.
Would you tell us if you're depressed by New York City's finances?
I'm very depressed. I foresaw this. Anybody could see. Wastefulness, corruption.
Yes.
Nobody gave a darn about what was happening to the money.
Do you get depressed when you think about New York City's finances?
Well, since it's supposed to be going bankrupt, it scares me. But, I just ask my father every night where we go. My father is always explaining it to me.
Well, good for you for doing that. Listen, thanks for talking to us.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi there. Hi. You're rushing around getting all kinds of things done, aren't you?
Uh-huh. I'm getting my shopping done.
Then that's a good time to ask you this question. Are you depressed by New York City's finances?
Everybody's finances depress me.
Mostly your own, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah, right. You live in Manhattan?
No, I live in Brooklyn. I work in Manhattan.
I see.
Yeah.
You think New York City will get out of it?
Eventually. Probably faster than I'm going to get out of mine.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi. How are you doing today?
Very well today. Just a little tired. Just got off from work, but other than that, I'm fine.
My goodness, you don't hurt at all. We wouldn't know if you hadn't told us.
Yes.
Are you depressed by New York City's finances?
Well, in some sorts, it is kind of depressing upon me because it puts a little worry into me on the kind of my family situation.
They're required to make sure that top one are rules and regulations. The weigh-ins, make sure the boys weigh in properly, that they make the weights, that they're not overweight or underweight, that the ages are there. They have their doctor's certificate allowing them to play.
I mean, they're all PhDs?
Very good. Not all of them.
The Sweet Adelines, an international society for barbershop harmony.
Now they have some courses over in England, the Panama Canal Zone, right? Canada. We're all over. In fact, in '76, the International Convention will be over in England.
It will?
And we're hoping that we get the opportunity to go.
On the 200th anniversary of the freedom of the United States, they're going to have their anniversary in England?
Well, we'll have to see about that.
A teenage drug drop-in center.
It really fine, capable people, and it also left them with, fine feelings of responsibility. Yeah. Right. So, I really do like to emphasize the prevention, and that it's really important that that people learn to understand one another and how to accept each other and the kind of other skills I mentioned.
The old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Exactly. How long have you been a gold miner?
A gold miner? Well, my boss thinks forever. And my husband thinks forever. No, what is a gold miner?
No, you said before you were a miner. I thought you meant a gold miner. So I thought I'd kind of caught some.
No, I meant I was under 21.
Oh, I thought so.
Under 19, which is a minor nowadays.
I don't know.
A volunteer.
That's Ernie's son off the right. Ernie with the hat on. Ernie Higgins, Dr. Ernest Higgins with the hat.
Right. One of our local dentists.
You should know a lot about a hole-in-one.
That's right, he should.
I have to listen to this all the while, This has got to be Steve Muller, is that right?
Yeah. Women and modeling agencies.
This form. And when they have done this, it will then determine the hairstyles that they're either limited or unlimited with.
One more thing, folks. I was thinking, when Barbara was talking about Irma Nordquist and doing the yoga, I thought if the people did the yoga without their clothes on, that'd be Yoga Bear.
She's a comedian, too.
No, it's the only way I can get through it all, folks. Breastfeeding about H.E. Lake.
Advantages of breastfeeding to the mother and the baby is the first.
That's the first
series.
Oh, that's the first. The advantages of breastfeeding
to the mother and the baby, and then this.
Like for the benefit of new people or something.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, if you start out like in your first month of pregnancy, you hit it twice, and you know, and the second time.
You hit it twice, that means you're going to have twins?
No.
We're having an arts and crafts program for the summer. And this young boy, he was 14 years old, and he was around helping me. He was so alert, and he was so helpful. He worked so hard, you know. These are all things you don't find. And so I was very impressed by him. So I said, well, won't you come down and I'll teach you how to cable cast. So he came down to the studio, and I was teaching him, and he's so bright-eyed, you know, and ready laughter, and, you know, smiling all the time. And there was a moment when everything was going fine, when we were cable casting, and I said to him, have you given any thought as to what you'd like to pursue as a career? And with the same bright smile, you know, and those bright eyes, he says, yes, I'm going to be a mortician.
Excerpts from a chat with Glendora. Bye-bye, everybody. Be as nice as you can to everyone.
On Saturday, August 21st at 9 p.m., the Jets meet Houston. That's live Jets action, Saturday at 9 p.m.
Hi there, everybody. How are you today? This is Glendora. Cheerful look at the news. Has President Ford told you yet who his vice president running mate is going to be? It looks to us folks like there's going to be a new entry in the Guinness Book of Records. Who can keep a secret longer, Gerald Ford or Daniel Schorr? Did you see where President Ford invited his Yale Law School buddies to the White House for lunch? Wasn't that nice? And it didn't say whether he invited the Yale Bulldog to go too, but I guess in case the Yale Bulldog didn't come, he had Earl Butz come. 35,000 rock fans gathered in Buffalo at Rich Stadium, folks, for a concert. Now, that would have been a neat time to slip in the Concord Jet. Who would have heard it? I know the Concord Jet is noisy and all that, but it isn't quite as bad as your son's corduroy pants, right? Now, what do you think of the new lighting at the Statue of Liberty? Do you remember what Emma Lazarus wrote about the Statue of Liberty? Cried she with silent lips, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Hey, she can't talk about my ancestors that way, but we don't care just as long as every day Bohack Supermarkets brings us Glendora a cheerful look at the news. Now, you know what I like about shopping at the Bohack and Village Supermarkets? The stores are big and they're light and they're roomy and they're bright. Now, you know that iceberg lettuce has gone sky high. Well, let's beat that. We can get chicory and escarole, 10 cents a pound, honest to Pete, 10 cents a pound, farm fresh and delicious chicory and escarole at the produce department of any Bohack or Village supermarket. Because we don't want to fool around with what food is costing us today. We want to make the most of our money. Bohack and Village Supermarkets, your place to supermarket. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi there, everybody. How you doing today? This is Glendora.
Paper towels are heavyweight because they stand up soaking wet.
Week and every week at any Bohack or Village supermarket. It's the place to supermarket, isn't it?
Sunny in Central Park. That's news now. We'll have full details tonight on the 10 o'clock news. I'm Christopher Jones. Thanks for watching. Have a very good afternoon.
How you doing today? This is Glendora, a cheerful look at the news. A minute you and I are having lots of fun with. Hey, the Daily News had an article how Jimmy Carter is a family man and said that Carter has come out foursquare for the family. Folks, I come from a foursquare family and we're expecting our fifth. The Daily News also said that Carter has already appointed somebody to be his official advisor on family affairs. We have an official advisor on family affairs at our house, my mother-in-law. That's awful about the school cutbacks in New York, isn't it? The children's education will probably suffer, you know, particularly in literature. And the New York kids will grow up thinking that Admiral Hornblower is some kind of a New York taxi driver or something. Hey, I bet pretty soon people in California won't be allowed to sleep on a Greyhound on account of they're really cracking down on bus napping out there. Those aspirin commercials that you see on TV, I think they're really effective, don't you? If you don't have a headache when the commercial starts, you certainly will when it ends. Glendora, a cheerful look at the news is brought to you every day by Bohack and Village Supermarkets. And folks, Bohack and Village Supermarkets have... And for dessert, go over to the produce department and get sweet, juicy, plump, seedless grapes, sort of like me, 49 cents a pound. You'll find these specials this week and much, much more at every Bohack and Village supermarket. It's the place to supermarket, isn't it? 5, 4, 3. Under 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi there, everybody. How you doing today? Just miserable, right? Well, anyway, this is Glendora, a cheerful look at the news, and let's hope that helps. What do you think about the fall styles? I think those lovely fancy petticoats are just going to look great over your daughter's blue jeans. And I think that the poncho is still going to be around. I love to wear a poncho, don't you? Yeah, it covers up our paunch. Every day, just about, in the news, you read about a labor dispute that has to be settled by binding arbitration. Well, I had a labor suit that I settled by binding arbitration. I married him. It's really amusing to read the marriage intentions today. You know, in the newspapers in smaller towns, you'll read that so-and-so of 221 Osgood Avenue filed a marriage intention to marry so-and-so of 221 Osgood Avenue. Folks, did you ever wonder what becomes of those little pieces of soap, little bars of soap, when you can't use them anymore? They get so small you can't use them anymore. They end up in hotel rooms. Glendora, a cheerful look at the news is brought to you every day by Bohack and Village Supermarkets. And savings in the grocery department, too. Schaefer beer. 6 12-ounce bottles. Just $1.19 with any additional $5 purchase and coupon from today's News, Newsday, or Long Island Press. That's today at any Bohack or Village supermarket. It's the place to supermarket, isn't it? Girls, how you doing today? This is Glendora, a cheerful look at the news. What do you think about the new fashions now for the fall? I bet your daughter's just going to look great in all those fancy petticoats over her blue jeans, right? And I think ponchos will still be popular this fall. I'd love to wear a poncho, don't you? It covers up our paunch. Just about every day in the news you hear or read about some labor dispute that has to be settled by binding arbitration. Well, girls, I had a labor dispute that I settled by binding arbitration. I married him. It's really amusing to read the marriage intentions in the newspapers today, isn't it? You read that so-and-so of 221 Osgood Avenue filed a marriage intention to marry so-and-so of 221 Osgood Avenue. Folks, did you ever wonder what becomes of all those little pieces of soap when you can't use them for anything anymore? You know where they go? They go to hotel rooms. Glendora, a cheerful look at the news is brought to you every day by good old Bohack and Village Supermarkets. And now, ladies, Bohack and Village Supermarket only. Savings in the grocery department, too. Schaefer's. 6 12-ounce bottles, just $1.19 with any additional $5 purchase and a coupon from today's News, Newsday, or Long Island Press. Today at any Bohack or Village supermarket, it is the place to supermarket, isn't it? In public broadcasting, that 5, 4, 3, 2,
one. Hi there, everybody. How are you doing today? This is Glendora, Cheerful Look at the News. Have you gone through Times Square and seen that big sign on a restaurant there, popular prices? I know what you're thinking. No prices these days are popular. Can you make a pound cake, a really good pound cake? I love pound cake, and we know why they call it pound cake, don't we? It's a pound here, and it's a pound here, and it's a pound here. What kind of deodorant do you use? I try to use the same one that the Statue of Liberty uses. No, I use Right Guard. I think it's good, but I think they should have one for the left arm too, don't you? You know, folks, you still read in the newspaper these days about people getting Fulbright scholarships. That's wonderful. Do you think your son will get a Fulbright scholarship? You'd probably be happy if you just got a half-Bright scholarship, right? This is Glendora, Cheerful Look at the News, and it's brought to you every day by Bohack and Village Supermarkets, who's trying to do something every day to cheer us all up. Girls, this is summertime, right? And this is salad time. Now, do you like good prices? And do you like farm fresh produce? Well then, at every Bohack and Village supermarket this week, you can get escarole and chicory, farm fresh and delicious, for 10 cents a pound. Honest to Pete, 10 cents a pound, farm fresh chicory and escarole. And then to go with it, you can get Tetley tea for delicious, refreshing iced tea, 100 bags for 99 cents. 100 bags, that's what your husband calls your PTA meeting, right? That's this week at Bohack or Village Supermarkets. Hooray! It is the place, the supermarket, isn't it? This is Glendora, Cheerful Look at the News. Have you been through Times Square and seen that restaurant has a big sign on it that says popular prices? I know what you're thinking. No prices these days are popular. And did you, are you any good at making a pound cake? I'm terrible. But we love them, don't we? We love pound cake. And we know why they call it a pound, right? Because it's a pound here, and a pound here, and a pound here. What kind of deodorant do you use? I try to use the kind that the Statue of Liberty uses. No, I use Right Guard. I think it's pretty good, Right Guard. But I think they should have one for the left arm, too, don't you? You know, in the newspapers, you're still seeing where people get Fulbright scholarships. Would you like to have your son get a Fulbright scholarship? I bet you'd be happy if you just got a half-Bright scholarship, right? Glendora, Cheerful Look at the News is brought to you every day by Bohack and Village Supermarkets. They're trying real hard to put a little bit of cheer in your life each day. Now, girls, it's summertime and it's salad time, right? You like good prices, and you like specials, and you like farm fresh produce? Well, look, at every Bohack and Village Supermarket this week, you get escarole and chicory, just 10 cents a pound. Honest to Pete, escarole and chicory, 10 cents a pound. It's farm fresh. And to go with it, you have Tetley tea for delicious, refreshing iced tea, 100 bags for 99 cents. 100 bags is what your husband calls your PTA meeting. And that's at Bohack or Village Supermarket all week long. Hooray! Hi, girls. How you making out today? This is Glendora, Cheerful Look at the News. Yesterday, I was talking to a man who was a general manager of a car rental agency, and I asked him what kind of cars that he rented, and he said Ford. I bet one customer he'll never have is Ronald Reagan. Listen, George M. Steinbrenner III still has a claim against the United States government for $5.4 million in cost overruns on ships his firm built. Do you suppose he has a claim against Billy Martin for the New York Yankee underruns? You don't hear anything from the telephone company these days, do you, about increasing our rates? Well, I think it's kind of good for the telephone company to increase the rates in an election year, don't you? On account of that will remind the politicians that talk isn't cheap. What member of President Ford's cabinet do you think can do crossword puzzles the best? I think it must be Earl Butz, on account of he knows more crosswords than anybody. Have you heard that expression that nature hates a vacuum? Well, something else that hates a vacuum is your stomach. And that's why Bohack Supermarkets every day, bringing you Glendora, Cheerful Look at the News, is a place for you to shop. Here's a really good weekend menu for you, low cost and high quality. Garden Fresh Escarole Chicory, 10 cents a pound. Farm fresh golden sweet corn, 10 ears for $1. And for a beverage, folks, you can have iced tea with Tetley tea, 100 bags for 99 cents. Then for dessert, you can have sweet juicy seedless grapes, they're only 49 cents a pound, and farm fresh jumbo cantaloupe, 59 cents each. That's a great meal at great savings at Bohacker Village all this week. It's the place, the supermarket.
New York Jets 1976 preseason games. On Saturday, August 21st at 9 p.m., the Jets meet Houston. That's live Jets action Saturday at 9 p.m.
Hey ladies, how you doing today? This is Glendora, a cheerful look at the news. Yesterday, girls, I was talking to a fellow who is a manager of a car rental outfit, and I asked him, you know, what kind of cars do you rent? And he said, Ford. I bet you one customer he won't have is Ronnie Reagan. Listen, George M. Steinbrenner III still has a claim against the United States government for $5.4 million in cost overruns on ships his firm built. Now, do you suppose he has a claim against Billy Martin for the New York Yankees underruns? Well, we don't hear anything on the TV about the New York Telephone Company, do we, raising the rates? But you know, it wouldn't be too bad an idea to raise the rates in an election year, do you think? Because then that might remind the politicians that talk isn't cheap. Who do you think is the best person in President Ford's cabinet for doing crossword puzzles? It must be Butts, on account of he knows more crosswords than any of us. Listen, you've heard the expression that nature hates a vacuum. Well, I know something else that hates a vacuum, and that's your tummy. And that's why Bohack Supermarkets, which brings you Glendora a cheerful look at the news every day, is the place for you to village supermarket and food shop. Bohack is a great high-quality, low-cost weekend meal for you folks. Garden Fresh Escarole or chicory, 10 cents a pound. Garden Sweet Corn, 10 ears for $1. And as a beverage, you can have iced tea with Tetley tea, and that's 100 bags for 99 cents. And for dessert, sweet juicy seedless grapes, 49 cents a pound, and jumbo sweet cantaloupe, 59 cents a pound. It's a great meal.
3400 rewinding, half-inch reel-to-reel. And that's Sony Videotape 11 that it's rewinding. That's how you thread it. And that's the alcohol, the rubbing alcohol, that you clean the heads with. And that's the top that goes over the heads, which are right here and here. Now we can put him all away. And the next tape we'll do will be Sony Videotape 12. And the feedback is coming from the monitor, this monitor that you're looking at. Now this is the CompuTemp. CompuTemp's very interesting. The CompuTemp gives you the temperature every minute of the day, alternating with the time. And then the CompuTemp remembers every temperature for every minute of the day. And then it will give you the high for the day and the low for the day, right here in your own home, not at the airport or anything like that. Oh, yes. And the low for the day, and the low for today was 33 degrees, and it occurred at 5:21 a.m. Now, the high for today is 44 degrees, and that occurred right now at 8:39 a.m.
How you doing today? This is a chat with Glendora. Are you sure you're really up to this? It lasts for a whole hour. Well, I did something nice for somebody for a change. And that person said, "Oh, bless your heart." And I thought to myself, no, bless my brains, I don't have a heart. Listen, I was going to ask you folks, what department is it of the United States government that gives out the birth statistics? Somebody told me it was the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. But I should think the department that would give out the birth statistics would be the Department of Labor. You read those signs and those advertisements that the telephone company puts out, dial a joke? I didn't know what that meant, but then I finally, well, I think it refers to some of the operators you get. But dial a joke is pretty good, though. I like it. And you see signs and ads in the newspapers for movies, and sometimes it says rated R, and sometimes don't you wonder if the R stands for rotten? Now, George Tooks, folks, is he's our roving reporter, and he's out on a boat. He's going to take you on a boat cruise today. Isn't that nice? You're going on a 3-hour boat cruise. And he's going to tell you about it. And I think if we can reach him now, let's stand by. Come in, George Tooks, wherever you are.
Center of the screen, you'll see 2 sailboats, and they are really beautiful. Looks like they're having a race of some kind, and you can also see the water jetting up over the edge of the Columbia that we're on. Very shortly we're going to be taking the time to meet and to talk to Captain William. That's Captain William Stephan, folks, who is at the wheel, and they're using a lecture to demonstrate everything that is going on here. Now, this has also been covered and copyright and everything else, all rights reserved by the firm.
That's too bad. Apparently what happened is that the tape was turned off when we went over to the table to discuss the new date. Jane Ann Murray pushed and pushed and pushed for June, and Franklin didn't seem to care one way or the other, and I favored July, and it came out to July 14th, and then apparently when we went back to the table, the court stenographer forgot to, not the court stenographer, thank heaven there wasn't one of those. A courtroom deputy forgot to turn back on the tape. Let me just check that out. What happened? That's too bad. Now can I tell you what happened? That was settled. A date was set to close motions. And I believe that motion will be closed May 9th. And that the to answer. Oh. How will I find out what happened? Therese Henry. Maybe she would know. Oh, that's too bad. That's a lot of work to piece all that together. Well, frankly, I tried, and she closed J.M. Razrat closed motion